Hi guys, and welcome back to Hilltop Farm. Today I'm going to make a lovely caramel slice. Wonderfully simple this is, but there's a few steps as in sort of heating one thing up and cooling it, and you tend to go back and forward a bit, but that's alright. As with all my recipes, it will be worth it. Okay, in this bowl here we have 150 grams of plain flour, 110 grams of brown sugar, and 40 grams of desiccated coconut, and we have 125 grams of melted butter in this saucepan. Now, let's just quickly combine our dry ingredients here. This is going to be making the base. So you're going basically for like a biscuit type base, kind of thing you'd almost like having a cheesecake. But of course this has got coconut in it, so it's not exactly the same. But make a little well in the middle, okay? And then pour your butter in. Now, as always at Hilltop Farm, this is real butter. Never occurred to me that I'd have to clarify, but someone did ask, so I have to. Margarine never gets past the front gate. Okay. Isn't it funny, the second you put that butter in there you can smell the coconut. Lovely. Now you keep mixing thoroughly until it's all mixed in, everything is moist. You don't want any dry pockets, you know, left behind. Can you see there? Everything is moist and beautiful. We have a lined slice tin. Okay, we pop all of our base in. Now, not only has it been lined, it's also well greased. Okay, spread it all out, okay, and then break it all up so it's covered evenly, right? When you think you've done that, use your hands and press it all down nice and tight so you've got a nice solid base. Now, can you see the kind of thing? And I mean, you can see how well greased all this is. Okay, now we're going to bake it and treat it like it's a big cookie in effect. Okay, you want to have preheated your oven to 180C, 350F or gas mark 4. Okay, that needs to go in on the top shelf for 15 to 20 minutes. Check it at 15, keep an eye on it. You want it to go a nice golden brown, like it's a cookie. Alright, we don't burn it. It's going to get a second cooking after this when it has your caramel layer on it. Alright, so we'll pop this in the oven and we'll come back for the next step. Okay, so that's been in the oven, and as you can see, it looks sort of like a cookie. It is soft to touch. It feels almost cake-like. Now, this has to get popped to one side because we need it thoroughly cooled. Okay, so obviously not on the oven. In the meantime, we can go on with making our caramel layer. Now, to save time, the next bit is a very messy procedure, so I've already done it. In here, I have 100 grams of butter. There is 1/3 of a cup of golden syrup and 2 cans of sweetened condensed milk. I forget the size of the cans, but as with all my videos, the ingredients list is in the description below, so that will have the size of the cans on there. Having got this all in the saucepan, we will light the gas. Now, this goes over a very low heat because it's literally the consistency of treacle, and so it will burn very, very easily. And what we're trying to do here is just get it to the point where it's nice and smooth and consistent. Okay, we'll be back when it's like that. Now, keep this moving. Want it smooth, like a rather good custard it's going to sort of look like. Now, our biscuit base is cool. What we do is we pour all of this goodness on. Look at that. Oh, you know who's going to be licking the spoon in the break, don't you? Okay. Now, you should have left your oven on, but for those that have turned it off, it has to go back on again. Same temperature as before, 180C, 350S or gas mark 4. Okay, now pop it in there. It goes in the oven this time for 20 minutes to 25 minutes. Keep an eye on it. You might want to, at 20-25 minutes, turn it round. Depends how even your oven is. Now, I'm not quite sure why I'm referring to this as she, but there she is. Okay, we've got it out of the oven. Now, what you will notice, be very careful, is it's a liquid at the moment. Okay, but because of all the sugar content that's in that, this is well, it's caramel really. It's like a toffee. Extremely hot. Lift it out carefully, try and keep it flat. Do not spill it on yourself, whatever you do. And once you've got it to that point, okay, you've then got to let it cool and actually go cold, and it will set. If you've got a double boiler, use that. If not, a bowl over the top of a saucepan with water in it. And if you still haven't got that, a mixing bowl placed in a large frying pan full of water. Bring the frying pan to the boil. Make sure it's all cold to start with. You don't want to break your mixing bowl. Bring it up to the boil and then turn it off. Because in there, 200 grams of dark chocolate melts and a tablespoon of just plain vegetable oil. Okay, get them up to heat and we're going to melt them and blend them all together. So that's sitting nicely in hot water. They're starting to melt. They'll be quite happy. I'll leave them there, and when this is actually cold and set, we're going to bring it out, make this chocolate concoction here nice and runny, and we're going to pour it on the top. So, looking good, isn't it? We'll be back when this is cold. Okay, now I think our chocolate has blended together nicely. Now remove the chocolate, sorry, from the top from the boiler. Now this bottom layer here, I haven't got it totally cold, because I don't want the chocolate setting like the second it hits the surface. I want a bit of time to sculpt. Okay, I'm going to be an artist. Now, using the back of your spoon, work your chocolate all the way round. Okay, leave no gaps. Like that, you see? Then once you've done that, try and get it even. Anyway, give it a bit of a shake. Now, this goes in the fridge to set. The first hint of it setting though, I want you to bring it out of the fridge and then just leave it on the bench top. Because to cut it, you don't want it rock hard out of the fridge. You want it room temperature. But you need that initial 15 minutes or so in the fridge to start it hardening. Okay? And we'll be back when it's set and we'll cut it. Okay. I'd like to say that came out easily, but it didn't. Still, it's come out in one piece, which is all I wanted it to do. Well, that just goes to show you that not everything goes smoothly at Hilltop, but still. Now, there are a couple of ways of doing this. If your chocolate is rather thick, and you're concerned that the whole thing's going to break and disintegrate on you, then what you do is, I've got a pan of boiling hot water back here. You just dunk your knife into it, dry it, and then use it like that. Okay? So, problem is, it makes a mess. Now, I don't actually think my chocolate is thick enough to need to do that. I think it's going to make more of a mess than, you know, and we don't, as I say, we don't need it. So it is a technique to use if you have a particularly thick coating on something and then you have to cut it, because sometimes it's the case that the whole thing's going to smash apart if you cut it. So how do I do it? So how you do it is like that. Is you heat up your knife and then you do it. Okay, I'll keep cutting this up and I'll be back. Okay, so there you go. What do you think? Beautifully presented, wouldn't you say, after all that? Anyway, it's only fiddly in that you have to keep stopping and starting, let it cool, heat it up, you know, this kind of thing. If you're not tied to the kitchen, if you're doing housework or you're doing something else within earshot of the kitchen timer, so you can do each step, go away for half an hour, however long it takes to cool down in between. The bits you actually have to work on, very quick, very simple. And it looks great, it really does. Whether you're entertaining or you want this for, you know, kids' lunches or whatever you want it for. It might be I think they call it a potluck in America, but yeah, you might just you know, be required to take a plate to the office for something. Anyway, this would be perfect. So if you like what you see, give us a big thumbs up, hit subscribe so you don't miss out on any other videos of ours. Share us on social media, and it's goodbye from Hilltop Farm. See ya!